सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तम् तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेश्य मनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेताः ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम् सन्नियं येन्द्रियग्रामम् सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिरवाप्यते ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम् मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अथ ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततः मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि।
Clarification. I heard Arjuna wants to convince Krishna to change his activity. Krishna's discourse to Arjuna is to change his attitude. Keep the same activity based on Swadharma Swabhava. By changing your activity, you can delude yourself that you are growing spiritually. The goal is to change your attitude in the existing activity. For example, a businessman should go from adharma to dharma, karma yoga, sannyasa, moksha, and even after moksha, keep his activity the same. Correct. This is what is said. Clarification. Bhishma was fighting on the side of the Kauravas. How was his attitude wrong? Did he commit adharma? Was he not following Karma Yoga? Assuming Bhishma's activity as that of a warrior, what was the fault with his attitude? If he could go back in history, how could he have changed his attitude, do the same activity, and move towards deeper levels of spirituality? The question is regarding Bhishma. Everything, the question is revolving around the character of Bhishma. Bhishma need not move to deeper levels of spirituality. He's already evolved a lot. That's how we look at the character of, when we look at the character of Bhishma, Bhishma we understand as the character who's already evolved a lot. And when a person is evolved spiritually, when a person has grown to a spiritual maturity, there are certain things which we will find irreconcilable. There are a few things that we'll always find irreconcilable. Converse is not true. Wherever there is irreconcilable activities doesn't mean they are all spiritual. Yeah, that's what has happened today. So because of this argument, people went into the ulta direction. So wherever there is irreconcilable activities, they started calling themselves as spiritual. It doesn't mean that the converse is never ever true. There is an aspect in the highly evolved spiritual people that there are certain things that is irreconcilable. What makes it irreconcilable? Because our understanding is at a grosser level, their understanding is at a subtler level, what we call as Dharma Sukshma. Technically, it's called Dharma Sukshma. Dharma Sukshma means the subtleties of Dharma they know. Because they know the subtleties of Dharma, which is purely a subjective understanding, carefully follow. Dharma Sukshma they understand, and it is purely a subjective, and it is purely a subjective vision. Therefore, a few things in them will be irreconcilable. What are the things in relation to Bhishma that is irreconcilable? This we can find in all spiritual people. We can find certain characters, certain characteristics which is irreconcilable. Take any spiritual master, you will find something in that person which is which we will not be able to understand. That which we don't understand is a flaw. That which we don't understand becomes a flaw. Number two, that where we come from, a sense of right and wrong, they come differently. Therefore, it gets very confused. Are you able to follow? This is the general theorem. Now, to answer the question directly about Bhishma, was he following adharma? He said no. In his conviction, he was ready to give up his life for what he thought was the right thing to do. What is the right thing to do? To fight for Hastinapura, not for Kauravas. Incidentally, Kauravas were there. Whoever was there ruling Hastinapura, he would have fought. Just as whoever is the prime minister of this country, the soldier will fight. The soldier will not say, if this person is the prime minister, I will fight. If this person is the prime minister, therefore I will not fight. Soldier will not. That's not the dharma of the soldier. Are you able to follow? So irrespective of who's heading, the soldier will fight. That is Bhishma. Incidentally, it happens to be Kauravas. Therefore, everybody thought, why is he fighting? Why is he fighting for this Kauravas? Why is he doing things for Kauravas? No, he was fighting for protecting Hastinapura, irrespective of whoever is the ruler. Are you able to follow? Therefore, from that angle, it is not adharma for him, because that is the vow that he took. That is the pratignya that he took. He took that vow and he stuck to that vow. He gave a promise to the mother, on my dead body, Hastinapura will be destroyed. He lived up to it right till the end. Now, whether it is right or wrong and all is a matter of debate. But again, whenever we debate, we cannot debate Bhishma. It is the debater's mind that comes into the play. Always remember this. In any debate, we can never debate the character. It is the person who's debating, that person's mind only comes out. Do you know that? You understand that? If we are debating Rama, we will not know anything about Rama. But you can understand something about the debater's mind, the way that he is interpreting Rama, something about that person is understood. Whether you will understand about Rama or not, we really don't know. Because to understand Rama, you really have to go and ask Rama only, isn't it? Who else to go and ask now? Who else to go and ask? Are you able to follow? Wherever Krishna is interpreted, you know the mind of the person who's interpreting Krishna, not Krishna. Because we see things according to our understanding. These people operate from a dharma sukshma level. Therefore, there are certain things that is irreconcilable. He's already spiritually evolved. If he has to go back in time, what he would have done differently, he would not have done anything differently. If Bhishma has to go back in time, what he would not have done anything differently. What he should have done differently going back in time means he should have told his father, just stay quiet. Old man, and you are being lustful. Old man, and you are being lustful. Just retire and just retire. I will take care. That's what you should have done. No, rightly speaking. 16-year-old boy sacrificing for the 150-year-old lustful father. Does it make any sense? That is Bhishma. Yeah, that's why he's called Bhishma the terrible. The terrible means not terrible in that sense. Bhishma means one who can take up an austerity and follow that till the end. He followed that. Therefore, what he would have done differently? Nothing better he could have done that way. Therefore, Bhishma, is he following adharma? In his understanding, dharma sukshma, no. What he would have done? He would have done exactly the same thing, because he never did anything wrong for him to go back into time and offset it. Are you able to follow? Only if you have done something wrong, you want to go back into time in the past. Go back into time in the past and try to undo that. In his vision, in Bhishma, what did he do wrong that he should do that? That's it. This is as far as Bhishma is concerned. Second, Duryodhana told Krishna that he knows the difference between adharma and dharma. However, he is motivated to act adharmically. Because Duryodhana Swadharma and Swabhava adharmic, therefore he was acting with his corresponding attitude. How could he have changed his attitude if he really wanted? Duryodhana. How Duryodhana could have changed his attitude if he really wanted? He didn't want. Answer is he didn't want to change. That's the problem. Arjuna was struggling to change. Understand the difference between Arjuna and Duryodhana. Duryodhana didn't want to change. Arjuna was struggling to change. In that struggle to change, he was falling down. In that struggle to change, he was falling down. Therefore, Krishna was standing with him right till the end. Are you able to understand the difference? Duryodhana didn't want the change at all. He's saying, I am attracted to adharma. That's all. It's like saying, I'm attracted to adharma, sympathize with me. I'm attracted to adharma, I will do the wrong things, sympathize with me and support me. Who will support you? Even if gods want to support you also, they cannot, because the law is such that. Are you able to follow? Therefore, Duryodhana didn't want to change at all. If he had wanted to change, minimum thing Krishna came, isn't it? At least give them a 5-bedroom apartment, he said. Isn't it? Please give them a 5-bedroom apartment and I'll let them live. No. Are you able to follow? From where he came down. Somewhere down the line, if he wanted to change, he would have grabbed that. But what did he say? No, we will decide this matter by, we will decide this either they should be alive or we should be alive. The matter will be decided only upon death. Are you able to follow? So Duryodhana never wanted to change. Bhishma taught him, Dronacharya taught him, Vidura taught him, Krishna came and taught him, but he wouldn't listen. You follow? Next. Based on the Swadharma that's been gifted to you, can you end up doing the wrong activity? Okay. Based on the Swadharma, can you end up doing wrong activity? If there is nothing like wrong activity, only wrong attitude, then based on your Swadharma, can you be stuck with the wrong attitude? Are you able to follow the question? இவ்வளவுதான் இருக்கா இன்னும் ஏதாவது இருக்கா only this much is there, no? Okay. Based on the Swadharma that's gifted to you, can you end up doing the wrong activity? If there is nothing like wrong activity, correct. There is no such thing like wrong activity. It is only the wrong attitude. So it is the wrong attitude that drives the activity, also makes the activity wrong. It is also the wrong attitude makes the activity wrong. Wiping the table is a simple activity. Correct? Take a very ordinary example. Wiping the table is a very ordinary activity. The attitude that you bring in while you are wiping the table only determines the quality of the activity. What is the attitude that you bring in? One attitude that you can bring in is what? Irritating, frustrated. Yeah, I know the menial jobs and all I will not do. I don't know what other job you will do then, isn't it? If all jobs are menial, then what will you end up doing in life? There's only one job, then you can do. End up crying for everything, isn't it? Therefore, activity. As you are wiping the table, you can bring in that attitude of dedicating it to the I want to keep it clean. That can be another attitude. One attitude could be irritating. You are irritated. Another attitude could be you want to keep it clean. Another activity is what? This activity of wiping the table is dedicated to God. When you bring in the attitude of dedicating it to God, then the attitude is right. Whatsoever activity you are doing doesn't matter after. Are you able to follow? Now, whatsoever activity here means you don't start doing any activity. In your swabhava activity, you must bring in this attitude. In your swabhava activity alone, you should be able to bring in this attitude. It's not that you start up doing some activity and in that activity you come and practice this devotion. It doesn't work that way. How do we say that? How can you say that? For an activity to be performed, the cooperation of the mind is required. the cooperation of the mind is required. One, mind can cooperate either for a temporary like or dislike or for your swabhava. Mind can cooperate under two conditions. Either you have a temporary like for a small period of time, your mind can cooperate. That is not swabhava. Everybody misunderstands whatever they like temporarily for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years as their swabhava. That's why they say switching. What do they say? Switching careers, switching careers, switching job, isn't it? Midlife crisis. From birth to death, it's a crisis. Why only midlife is a crisis, isn't it? Now, swabhava means the mind is kind of bored with what you are doing. Because of the boredom, you want to change, or you temporarily started liking something, you want to change. All these activities are driven by raga, dvesha, likes and dislikes. Distinct and different from that is a swabhava with which you are born. Swabhava means the proportion of the three gunas. And that three gunas automatically will gravitate to a field of activity. Are you able to follow? That proportion of gunas that you are born with, you will be automatically attracted to that field of activity. In that field of activity, what you should do now? In that field of activity, what you should do? Where all tamo guna is, you should knock it off. That's the purpose. In that field of activity, where all tamo guna is, you should knock it off. Are you able to follow? Supposing I get into an activity, and if I have 40% of tamoguna, why am I getting into that activity? I want to knock off the tamoguna. Knocking off the tamoguna is relatively easier in swabhava. That's why we say swabhava, sticking to your swabhava is your primary dharma. Sticking to your swabhava is your primary dharma, because you have to knock off your tamoguna. Now, how do you knock off your tamoguna? How can you knock it off? It's very difficult to get rid of tamoguna, isn't it? Because tamoguna, we have seen it, stubbornness. Mind will just get stuck to something and it will refuse to move. The moment it is stuck, it will do anything for that. See, when the mind is stuck, either it will refuse to move or it will not mind doing anything to get it. Both are tamoguna. Are you able to follow? That's why we gave the example, no? You want to owning a car. What is wrong in owning a car? But then you save the money and then you buy a car. It means when you are saving that money, you are able to keep the desire under control for 5 years. When you are able to keep the desire under control for 5 years, you have already started dealing with your raga dvesha. Are you able to follow? That's why we say don't borrow, don't take loans, don't take loans, don't take loans. It's a very beautiful way, very indirect way of dealing with your tamoguna already, raga dvesha already. Are you able to follow? And then comes directly. Karma Yoga deals with it directly because it is thinned out little bit. Sannyasa Yoga vaporizes it because it is so thin. But then in the initial stages where tamoguna is more, you have to knock it off. Now to knock off tamoguna is very, very stressful, very painful. When the mind will not cooperate. What to do there? Swabhava karma helps. Swabhava, stick to the swabhava karma and bring in the right attitude. Tamoguna is a stubbornness. And you have to knock it off. For you to knock it off, you need the cooperation of your mind. And swabhava karma, it will cooperate. Number one. Number two, swabhava karma brings about a consistency in you. Otherwise, every 5 years you keep changing. Every few years you keep changing. Every 5 years you keep changing. Now, swabhava karma brings in a consistency also. So, swabhava karma brings in a consistency. So, swabhava karma helps you to knock off your moguna. Therefore, your primary dharma is to follow your swabhava. That becomes your first dharma. The first dharma is to follow your swabhava. And when you pick up an activity to your swabhava and knock off your, just because it is swabhava doesn't mean tamoguna will not be there. Understand that. Just because it is swabhava, it will not be like, you will not just fly like the rocket. Tamoguna will still pull you down. Effort is still required. Understand that. Swabhava doesn't mean it's going to be easy. People understand nature means it will be easy, no, sir. Nature means it will be easy, no. Tamoguna will be easy. Nature will be difficult. Because nature means activity and change of attitude in that activity is always difficult. Tamoguna is very easy. Now there is no tamoguna which is your swabhava and we say it's your nature. No, be tamasik, it's good. No, it's not acceptable at all. You follow, Amit? Therefore, at any given point in time, we need to do our swabhava karma. We need to do our swabhava karma activity because mind cooperates, and when you bring in the right attitude, the tamoguna gets knocked off. What is tamoguna knocking off? Where all indifference is there in that field of activity, you will change. Where all your moods comes and tells you, today I don't feel like doing it. Oh, today I don't feel like doing it. Suddenly at 7:45, at 7:40, a powerful feeling comes to me that I don't feel like doing the class today. Suddenly. It doesn't come, I'm just giving as an example. Divya, I don't get it. I'm just giving it as an example. It suddenly, if it comes, tamoguna will straight away make me to act on it. Tamoguna will straight away make me to act on it. And what is the easiest way to act on it? That's why you should have 5, 6 body problems. You should always have. Yeah, you should always have. Diseases you should have. So we both have sciatica in common. Therefore, use that. Today, sciatica pain is so much that I can't even get up from the bed. Okay. And then what will I do at 8 o'clock? What will I do at 8 o'clock? Open the YouTube and watch a movie. Yeah. The tamoguna straight away pulls you into an activity. Straight away will tell you don't do it, and you will be so helpless. What is rajoguna? Confusion. Should I do it or not? I'm sitting there. Should I switch on the camera or not? Dilemma now. Then I have to bring in all the knowledge that I have. All the knowledge that I have studied for 40 years, I have to bring in and then say, okay, it doesn't matter, Narayana, irritating people. But still, as my obligation, I will start the class sweating and puffing and agitated. And Amit will come with irritating questions. Yeah, that is going to increase as it is, switching the camera on is blood pressure. And Amit's face is more blood pressure. And his questions are, the 15th roof also goes off now. What Rajoguna this is? This is Rajoguna. Are you able to follow? Sattva Guna. What is Sattva Guna? It has to be done. It has to be done. There is no dilemma at all. There is no, because the conflict doesn't exist at all. Because 7:45, this is it. There is no other alternative available. There is no other alternative present at all other than this. Are you able to follow? Sattva Guna. For all this is how it's easy to operate like this in your Swabhava Karma. Therefore, in Vedanta, the first dharma he says is stick to your Swabhava and bring in the right attitude. Karma Yoga is to bring in the attitude of gratitude and obligations. Bhakti Yoga is to bring in Ishvara Arpana. It is dedicated to this act of talking. Is dedicated to God. It's a bhavana. There is no God there. It is a bhavana. Why do you have to dedicate it to God? your actions are dedicated to, if I say your actions are dedicated to money, what is your goal? Money is the goal. So whatsoever you dedicate your action to, that's the goal. Now, when you dedicate it to God, it means God has become the goal. Are you able to follow the difference? Therefore, when you wipe the table, go back to the same example. When you are wiping the table, you can wipe the table as dedicating it to God. Ishwara Arpanam. Are you able to follow? That's how we say there is no activity that can be wrong. Because if I say activity is wrong, what activity I have to call it as wrong? But then there are certain obvious activities which we will call as wrong, like terrorism, raping, stealing. These are all very general ideas of right and wrong activities, which doesn't really help at all in anybody. All these general activities of right and wrong is good for Mari Biscuit discussion. But in real life, it doesn't help us that way. In real life, it doesn't help that way. So we need to have a clarity on the swabhava, and in the swabhava, bring in the right attitude. And what are all the right attitudes that you have to bring in? The attitude of it's my duty, it's my obligation, duty born out of gratitude. Are you able to follow? Obligation, duty born out of gratitude, comma, dedicating it to God. Are you able to follow? So duty, actions born out of gratitude and dedicating it to God. Are you okay? Bhakti Yoga, what is that God is the problem? In Bhakti Yoga, what is that God is the problem? I'm not going into that now. We are going to study that. Last week we started discussing. Now I'm going into the chapter. Venkat, questions over. Over than answers are over. Amit, okay? Now I'm going into the chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. When we go to the 35 qualities, there you will know how to bring the swabhava, the dharma, the karma yoga attitude, the bhakti yoga attitude, how we'll try to see how all these get combined in the 35 qualities. That's why we're going to, that's why it's one of the beautiful topic. Sometimes they take this 35 qualities as a separate topic and discuss itself, because in each and every quality, this can be combined. So when we go there, we'll be discussing that. Now, chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga. And we have seen last week, Bhakti comes from the root Bhaja, Bhaj, means to serve. Worshipping in Vedanta, worshipping means service. Worshipping is not offering flowers. Worshipping doesn't mean singing kirtans. It means that also. But singing kirtan is a way of offering, is a way of serving the God. Every act, all actions that is dedicated, that is service to God. And then comes a few important aspects of bhakti that we'll introduce, and then we'll go on to the verses, because a few things has to be because this chapter is giving us an option to discuss bhakti yoga. We'll try to cover the bhakti in the introductory section. I'm trying to cover bhakti from 2-3 angles, and then we'll go into verse by verse. Just as in Vishwarupa, we got a unique opportunity to discuss something. We spent some time discussing that. Similarly, Bhakti Yoga is going to give us a unique opportunity to study Bhakti. So we'll try to introduce the idea of Bhakti in a very all aspects of Bhakti that we have been doing Separately, we'll try to put everything together, understand it as bhakti, and then we move on to the discussion of each and every verse. And this introduction will be helpful when we go to the later verses, because I'll be referring as we said there, as it was said there, as it was said there, I'll be referring. That's why we are trying to expose bhakti like this. Just as karma has sakama karma and nishkama karma, bhakti also has sakama bhakti and nishkama bhakti. Just as karma means action, sakama karma and nishkama karma. Bhakti also has sakama bhakti and nishkama bhakti. Now, mathematically try to put it like that. Clear? Sakama karma plus nishkama karma. Sakama bhakti and nishkama bhakti. Which will tally? Which will tally? Sakama karma and sakama bhakti will go together. Nishkama karma and nishkama bhakti will go together. Are you able to follow the mathematics? Sakama karma and sakama bhakti will go together. Nishkama karma and nishkama bhakti will go together. You can never have a nishkama karma and sakama bhakti combination. It will never work. Similarly, a sakama karma and nishkama bhakti again will not go together. Just as we understood, sakama karma has to be eliminated and nishkama karma has to come in. Here we will discuss sakama bhakti must go and nishkama bhakti must come. When the sakama bhakti is dismissed, when sakama bhakti is criticized, people misunderstand as bhakti is criticized. Just as sakama karma gets criticized. Desired and actions are criticized. Because desired and actions are criticized, you will not take it as actions are criticized. Are you able to follow? The sakama part of the action is criticized and condemned. Why it is criticized and condemned? Because it's not good for you. If it is criticized means it's not good for you, therefore it is criticized. Condemned means it's not good for you, therefore it is condemned. Similarly, sakama bhakti and nishkama bhakti. Clear? Are you okay till now? Sakama karma gives temporary result. Sakama karma gives temporary result, correct? You do activities with a desire, you will get it. But the result of it is temporary. So, sakama karma phalam is anityam, temporary. Continuing the same logic, sakama bhakti phalam also is anityam, temporary. Are you able to follow? Sakama bhakti phalam also is anityam and temporary. What is the sakama bhakti phalam? Which is what he calls as artha artharthi. The artha artharthi which we already studied. When he introduced bhakti itself, he introduced the formula in chapter 7. Artha bhakti and artharthi bhakti is sakama bhakti, which is temporary by nature. The jignasu bhakti is one leg here, one leg there. The jignasu bhakti is, he is not able to let go of sakama, but he wants to come to nishkama. So he is oscillating between the two, poor fellow. And all the shastras is addressed to that fellow only. We want to address that fellow who is torn in between. Yeah, this fellow is torn in between. Sometimes he's going there, sometimes he's going here, not knowing where to go. So sakama bhakti is artha bhakti and arthartha bhakti. Artha bhakti, arthartha bhakti in chapter 7 is discussed as Artha Bhakti and Arthartha Bhakti is discussed as what there? Seeking material wealth, seeking mental solace. Peace. Mental, not peace, solace. And the seeking the Seeking solace is temporary. Why? Because why it is temporary? How do we say all the solace, all the peace that you have is temporary? The karma pala will come and take away the peace. The karma pala, the karma of whatsoever you have done, that will come and take away the mental peace. That will come and take away your, therefore it is temporary. Is temporary. In Sakama Bhakti, carefully follow. In Sakama Bhakti, you choose the deity according to your desire. In Sakama Bhakti, you choose the deity according to your desire. Yeah. One community will do only Lakshmi Puja. They will not do Saraswati Puja. You know that? They will not know what Saraswati Puja is. They will do only Lakshmi Puja. The locker will be worshipped morning and evening and night. The locker only will be worshipped. Lakshmi Puja. Another community will worship only Saraswati. Diyo yo na prachodayat. Diyo kartala sangalam. Narayanji. Morning, noon and night. Diyo yo na prachodayat. Diyo yo na prachodayat. How many times do you keep repeating it? Diyo yo na. So you choose that in Sakama Bhakti, you choose the deity according to your desire. Therefore, the deity that you choose indicates your desire. That's why we always ask innocuously, what is your Ishta Devata? I ask. And they also tell me that, I know, okay, that's your desire. Raj, trade secret to the isn't it? Yeah, trade secret to the So I very casually in the middle, suddenly I'll ask, what is your Ishta Devata? They will say, oh, Abdiya, very good. Narayana, good. Are you will follow? So you choose the deity according to the desire, you choose the deity, and all that will be done to please the deity, and the assumption is if you please the deity, you will be blessed with it. That is Sakama Bhakti. Will you be blessed with it? Yes, you will be blessed with it. You will be blessed with it. But the deity cannot give it to you permanently, because the desire that you are seeking, the karma palam by law is temporary. Therefore, the deity will give you the result, but along with the result, what will come? The temporariness also will come. Therefore, Sakama Bhakti people get very frustrated after a while. They will say, or Kudugraamari Kurtiri Eduthaar, sir. He gave it as though he gave it as I was about to keep it in my pocket, somebody pickpocketed it, isn't it? Yeah. Subramanian, தமிழ்ல சொல்லுவா இல்லையா, குடுக்குற மாதிரி கொடுத்துட்டு எடுத்துட்டார். He gave it and then he took it away also. Sakama Bhakti will result in that. Sakama Bhakti will result in that. Now, Sakama Bhakti has to be turned into Nishkama Bhakti. Instead of simply criticizing it's useless, stop, the Sakama Bhakti will be turned into Nishkama Bhakti. How the Sakama Bhakti will be turned into Nishkama Bhakti? That is where we start with the Sankalpa. That's where all Sakama deities puja will start with the Sankalpa. Sankalpa means the clarity with which, what am I doing this for? That is called Sankalpa. What am I doing this for? That's why in the Sankalpa we say, Mama Saha Kudumbanam Chema Sairya Virya Vijaya Ayu Arogya. What all list comes in Sakama Karma. It's gotten, but it will be temporary. So in Nishkama Karma we say, in Nishkama Bhakti we say, don't change the puja, don't change the activity, change the Sankalpa. Because you have to, you can change the attitude only by changing the sankalpa. That's why we say change the sankalpa. Now, what do you do to change the sankalpa? What do you do to change the sankalpa? You say, Logakshema and Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. So, this puja is done for Lokakshema and Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. Now, there are two benefits. One is for the Loka Sangraha benefit. Second is, to me, it is Jnana Vairagya. Not that ordinary superficial Vairagya. Yeah. Purana Vairagya. TED Talk. That is Purana Vairagya. You hear that, you are rushing. Everything is happening. By the time you come out, the traffic jam. By the time you come out of the talk in the traffic jam, what goes out? Everything goes out. Back to other. That is called Purana Vairagya. Yeah. High, intense. What all terms they use now? High power talk, high intense talk. I don't know what all. I said my talk neither has power nor. My talk will never have power nor intensity nor nothing. It will have. The good strain. Mari we keep repeating the same thing again and again and doesn't move out of the station only, isn't it? Jnana Vairagyam. So you do the puja, you do the worship, you don't stop any of it. Change the sankalpa. And what is changing the sankalpa means? Say, you are doing it for Lokakshemam and Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. In the this is in a very general way, not in a general way. Everybody can do that. The same thing in the Orthodox in the Orthodox Brahminical thing, when they do the sankalpa, they say Shrauta, Smarta, Vihita, Nitya Karma, Anushtana, Yogyata, Siddhyartham. That's how they do the sankalpa. யாருக்கும் புரியறதே கிடையாது. Useless fellows. They repeat it and they don't even know what they are doing. Do everything ulta. Yeah. Shrauta, Smarta, Vihita, Nitya Karma. Shrauta, Smarta means that which is told in the Smritis and the Shrutis. Shrauta and Smarta, that which is told in the Shruti and the Smriti, I need to follow. Yogyata Siddhyartham. I should have the Yogyata to do that. I should have the Yogyata to do that. Shrauta, Smarta, Vihita, Nitya Karma, Anushtana. Nitya Karma, Pananundrathu morning. How much it was drilled in. What a culture it was. Useless fellows. சும்மா ஒரு பேங்க் ஜாபுக்கும் ஒரு இதுக்கும் they went and ஒரு IAS ஜாபுக்கும் ஒரு பேங்க் ஜாபுக்கும் they went and fell. Useless fellows, this I tell you. Useless people, these people are falling for what a tradition they have. Shrauta, Smarta, Vihita, Nitya Karma, Anushtana, Yogyada, Siddhyartham. Orthodox say that. What is the actual meaning of it? Lokakshema and Jnana Vairagya. Because the Shruti talks about Jnana Vairagya, the Smriti talks about Lokakshema. So it's the same thing. Actually, you are not missing out anything. And how do you do that? Nitya Karma. So change when you do the Sakama Bhakti, change the Sankalpa. Don't stop the Bhakti, change the Sankalpa. And how do you see the deity? In Sakama Bhakti, the deity represents your desire. In Nishkama Bhakti, the deity represents Purnatvam Brahman. Deity will remain the same. Deity will not change. Deity will still remain the same. But the deity, instead of representing your desire, the deity represents Purnatvam, Purnam, Ishvara, that Purna Ishvara, that Brahman. Therefore, right through, you are not changing anything. Are you able to follow? These are all so important in understanding bhakti. If you don't understand it like this, either bhakti will look like very superstitious or ritualistic. They don't know how it is a very highly developed thought process to bring in the sakama bhakti also. Sorry, nishkama bhakti. Nishkama karma and nishkama bhakti. Combination of nishkama karma and nishkama bhakti in one word, modern day terminology. What is it called? Sorry, two words. In modern day terminology, nishkama karma and nishkama bhakti. What is it called? In modern day spiritual terminology, it's called karma yoga. This is called karma yoga. So, karma yoga is what now? Nishkama karma and nishkama bhakti. Nishkama karma and nishkama bhakti becomes karma yoga. Lokesmin dvivida nishta pura prokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankyanam karma yogena yoginam. The nishkama karma, nishkama bhakti, vanda you become a yogi. What is a sannyasi now? அதையும் தெரிஞ்சு வச்சுட்டுலாம். அதையும் தெரிஞ்சு வச்சுட்டுலாம். அவுட் ஆஃப் சிலபஸ் இருந்தால் கூட தியரட்டிக்கலி we will, even though it is out of syllabus, we will still. Sannyasi means the first quality of a sannyasi. He says, I have no nitya naimittika karma. It's all done and over with. That's why sannyasi ke we go and bow down. You know why the tradition goes and bows down to the sannyasi? Because sannyasi makes a very bold step he's taking in life. What is the bold step that he's taking in life? I have done with my nitya naimittika karma. Nitya karma is over, naimittika karma is over. That is why symbolically the sacred thread will be cut. See, the sacred thread, all, yeah, at one point in time, everybody used to have it. Men, women, all varnas, everybody will have that. And then at another point in time, it became only men. And then another point of time, now it is restricted to the most minority community. Only one sect, the so-called Brahmins, wear the thread, Yajnopavita. That Yajnopavita is a common thing for everybody. Why? Because initiating you into the Yajnopavita is initiating you into Nityanamitika karma. Cutting that Yajnopavita means you have transcended that. Are you able to understand the difference? Are you able to understand the growth? So one guru will come and initiate you into the Gayatri, another guru will come and initiate you into Tattvamasi. And other the sannyasi will get rid of their Yajnopavita. They say, first condition to be a sannyasi is what? Bold enough to say, I have no more nitya naimittika karmas to be done. Either you have to be really bold and grown enough to say that, or you have to be really, really tamasic to say that. There are only two possibilities. Either a person has to be extremely tamasic to say, sir, I have finished with all my duties, sir. I tell you, how many people come and tell me, sir, I think I have done. I'm done, sir. Finished all my duties and obligations. Very good. Okay. What have you done? From right pocket, I kept everything to the left pocket. Okay. From right pocket. Sir, one person literally told me long back. I don't know who was there in that meeting. I think wise man was there. Correct. Wise man was there, and one more person was there in that meeting. Fellow came and said, "Sir, I'm a sannyasi now." I said, "Narayana, very good." I said, I was thinking, why will a sannyasi come and sit in my classroom? I'm thinking, because if there's a sannyasi, I will go and sit in that person's classroom. Why will he come and sit here? Sannyasi. And I said, what? All I have is only He carries a suitcase, no? Briefcase, not suitcase, briefcase. Briefcase. Sir, all I have is only this, sir. Okay. What is in that? Rendu vesti, two dhotis, two pairs minimum. I had this. So then he gave, then he started giving a list of what all he has, what all he had, and what all he has left now. I earned this much, I earned this much, I earned this much. Okay. What did you do with all that? Sannyasi means you should have let go of all that. What did you do with it? Both I have given it to my two sons, sir. I said, from right pocket, you shifted to left pocket, I said. You have not given up. From right pocket, you shifted it to your left pocket. My son, where is the sannyasa in that? He got so angry, he left. That's the last time we met him, no? After that, we didn't meet him. Yeah. Amit, that's how we will get rid of you also at some time. Something we'll say, you'll get so irritated, we'll get rid of you also. And that's how, Soumitra, everybody will get rid of he's coming and telling me, I'm a sannyasi, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. I said, very good. Who's a sannyasi? Who's a sannyasi? A person who has the courage to say, I am done with my nitya naimittika, I am done with my nitya naimittika karma. Number two, I have the privilege to live on the society. I need not work to earn. So sannyasa is number one. Nitya naimittika karma is done. Second, the privilege to live on the society. Parasite இருக்கிறது ஒரு privilege அங்க, isn't it? Because sannyasi will not work. Sannyasi will not do anything. All that he will do is what? Simply sit, people will come and give him everything and he will enjoy that. Yeah. Second thing. First thing is nitya naimittika karma is over. Second thing, he has the privilege to live on the not begging. It's a privilege. Huh? It's a privilege. It's not begging. Today sannyasa means begging. Oh, you go to Tiruvannamalai, you really don't know whether the beggars are more or the devotees more there, isn't it? There's a competition between the two there. Who's more, we really don't understand who is more, who the devotees are the beggars. All of them will be in that ochre robe also. It's a privilege. What is the privilege? The privilege to live on the, just as the brahmacharya has the privilege to live on the society. The student life is the privilege to live on the society. Similarly, sannyasa has the privilege. So, first condition to be a sannyasi is what now? Nitya naimittika karma is over. Second, he lives on the society. Third, other than Mahavakya Vichara, nothing happens. Actually, we should not say Vichara. Other than Mahavakya Nididhyasana, nothing happens. Here the word Vichara means Nididhyasana. Mahavakya Vichara. Here the word Vichara, here the meaning of the word Vichara is Nididhyasana. Other than constant remembering of the Mahavakyas, nothing else happens. Arjuna, we have discussed this already, no? Hasn't the Upanishads from the beginning said there are these two kinds of people? Isavasya said it very clearly, no? Isavasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjitam agrida kasyasviddanam. That is Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam. If you don't belong to this category, Kuruvan Neveha Karmani, Karma Yogena Yogina. It's the same idea that gets repeated. In Vedanta, we don't have the problem of having to say anything new. We just keep, we don't have to project ourselves as though we are something new, unique. What is your contribution? Repeating that is my contribution, that's all. Oh, no, sir, but how are you repeating it? புதுசா ஏதாவது ரிப்பீட் பண்ண வேணாமா? அது சினிமா கரெக்டர் தான் போகணும் இல்லையா? You can only go to the movie fellow to do that. இல்லையா? Same here, it's the same thing, that words also we will not change. Words also we will not are able to follow. Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoga. Now, fourth thing is, in Karma Yoga, it is arpana to God. In sannyasa, an attempt to become God. Sannyasa is an attempt to become God. Naal sonna ipo. Does anyone remember the four things we said? Sannyasi na. Number one, first thing. Who's a sannyasi? Bold enough to say, I have no nitya naimittika karmas. I am bold enough to say I have nitya and I don't have nitya naimittika karmas. Therefore, second, privilege to live on the society. 3, Mahavakya Nididhyasana. 4, that Nishkama Karma and Nishkama Bhakti, which is to God, here shifts to becoming God. So instead of saying offering to God, he will say, I am God. It gets very difficult. It's a very dangerous ground. Because Hiranyakashipu also says, I am God. Hiranyakashipu also says, I am God. This fellow also says, I am God. Now, how do you even distinguish between the two? How do you even know how to differentiate between the two? It's a different methodology. Are you able to follow now? So, the important aspect of bhakti is this. What? The deity, the sankalpa, graduating into all this. This is one angle with which we have to understand bhakti. Yeah. In Nishkama Bhakti, the deity has become the shift from the desire to the deity remains the same. Now, what the deity represents? The Purnam Brahman. Are you able to follow? Because the deity represents Purnam Brahman, you can do puja in any manner. Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Toyam. That privilege comes there only. You can, in any manner, you can do. You don't know, you can invent a new method also and do puja. In Nishkama Bhakti has this privilege. In Sakama Bhakti, the rules are very clear. In Sakama Bhakti, the rules are very clear. Just as in Sakama Karma, the rules are very clear. What is the rule of Sakama Karma being very clear? You have to go to office at this time. You have to work till this, you have to work this hours. It's all very specific done. In Sakama Karma, it is done very specifically. The rules are very clear. Only if you follow the rules, the result will come in Sakama Karma. Similarly, in Sakama Bhakti also, the rules are very clear. And only if you follow the rules, the result will come. You can't bring in Nishkama Bhakti attitude into Sakama Karma and say, I will do puja in any way. Will it work? I can do puja in whatever way I want to do puja, no sir. Will it work? Yeah. If you have Nishkama Bhakti, it will work. If you have Sakama Bhakti, what is the answer? It won't work. That is why people are bringing in the Nishkama Bhakti into Sakama Karma attitude and come and say, prayers don't work. Are you able to understand where people are making a mistake? You can't go to work at any time you want. You can't decide your work time, no? You can't decide your work time. You can't fix your salary. You can't fix everything. And then other person must give you all that. You will fix your job. You will fix your salary. You will fix your timing. And your boss must give you all that. Huh? How does it work? Huh? Will it work like that? It won't work like that. That's why in Sakama Karma, boss is very clear. Whether you like the boss or not, you must. Ashtang Namaskar Pannanu boss, whether even if the boss is a Rakshasa, you can't do anything. As long because you want because it's desire specific. Because it is desire specific, the rules, the regulations, everything is very, very clear there for the result to come. Are you able to follow? In Nishkama Karma, It's not desire specific. Therefore, certain flexibilities comes there. Certain privileges you get. Similarly, in Nishkama Bhakti, you get certain privilege. What is the privilege of Nishkama Bhakti? Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Toyam. That is the privilege of Nishkama Bhakti. In the Old Testament, Moses saw the shepherd boy praying to God. Prayna P-R-E-Y illa. Praying to God na P-R-A-Y. So in Old Testament, there is the shepherd boy praying to God. Moses saw and got very angry at that boy. Because how can you pray to God like that? Was his anger. What was he praying to God? He was removing the lice from the sheep's body. You know, they have those lices, no? All dogs, pets, all everything has lices. We also have. At one point of time, I don't think nowadays nobody has it. Thank God, at least that much we have grown, isn't it? No, no lice. So as he was removing the lice from the sheep's hair, the boy was thinking, "Oh God, you are all alone there. I don't know who is removing the lice from your hair." That's the prayer. Moses got so angry and he was about to hit the boy with the staff and say, how can you pray to God as though God has lice? Lice na Vijay, purida? Lice na L-I-C-E. L-I-E-S illa. Illa and the sound Alexa vechinu padra paad English la. I tell you, I don't know why it became this language, I can't understand. Yeah. Lice. L-I-C-E. L-I? He's saying lice. You are all alone. How can you? Who's removing your? Moses said, how can you talk about God having? Yes. As he was about to hit the boy with the staff, he heard the voice of God. Yeah. Told him, the prayer of the shepherd boy is the real prayer. That's the voice. Meaning that Nishkama Bhakti has the privilege. The Nishkama Bhakti, what is the privilege? You can do puja in any manner you know, or you don't know, or you heard, or you hear from somebody, or you can invent something. Nishkama Bhakti. Third, just as Nishkama Karma result is very predictable. You know that? Nishkama Karma result is very predictable. Similarly, Nishkama Bhakti result is also very predictable. First of all, do you realize that Nishkama Karma result is very predictable? Karmanyevadhikaraste mapaleshu kadachanala, very clear when it comes to Nishkama Karma. We will tell Krishna, keep your Karmanyevadhikaraste and all aside. I know very clearly what is the result of Nishkama Karma. Positive results only. Nishkama Karma result is only positive. Do you know that? How do you say that Nishkama Karma always produce positive result? Because you are bringing in the Sattva Guna, you are bringing in the right attitude, the combination of Sattva Guna, the combination of right attitude, all will result in what? Negative result or varave varadu. Are you able to follow? So Nishkama Karma will always predictable as in positivity. Similarly, Nishkama Bhakti is also. How do you say Nishkama Karma is always predictable? Nishkama Karma, I have quoted this verse million times. It's very predictable. Nishkama Karma result is very predictable. And I have quoted this verse million times. What is that verse? Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Sonarla, chapter 2, verse number 40. In chapter 2, verse number 40, he said, Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Little bit of this dharma you practice, Arjuna. It gets, so therefore this Nishkama Karma and Nishkama Bhakti results are very predictable. What is a very predictable result? What is a predictable result? Your spiritual growth, sannyasi. Nishkama Karma, Nishkama Bhakti will definitely take you to the sannyasi level. Please understand, it will not give you moksha. It will take you to the sannyasi level. The sannyasi gets into moksha. So nishkama karma, nishkama bhakti is an intermediary step. It's not a direct path to moksha. बोधोन्य साधने योगी साक्षान् मोक्षैक साधनम पाकस्य भक्निवज्ञानम विना मोक्षो न सिद्ध्यति आत्मबोध. He said it very, very clear. We have studied anya sadhana. This nishkama karma, nishkama bhakti is the anya sadhana that will lead you to becoming a sannyasi, and that sannyasi, by doing the nididya, the mahavakya nididhyasana, will get moksha. Very well follow? These are all the important aspect of bhakti that we need to understand. Because when we go to Arjuna's question, I will tell you how lack of clarity and all this is creating confusion. Why I am giving all this introduction is, when we go to Arjuna's question, we will understand it. In Sakama Bhakti, God becomes a security guard. God becomes a watchman. You have acquired and God must protect it. So God becomes the protector of your acquisitions and possessions. Are you able to follow? In Sakama Bhakti, God becomes the protector of your acquisitions and possessions. That's why nothing should happen to my wealth, nothing should happen to my children. So I pray for my wealth, or I pray for my children. Upon grandchildren, upon great grandchildren, thank God we will not be alive after a period of time. Isn't it? Illana, where is it stopped? So God becomes a security guard for saving your acquisitions and possessions. God must save your acquisitions. God must save your possessions. That is the Kama Bhakti. In Nishkama Bhakti is what? What is Nishkama Bhakti? The role of God in Nishkama Bhakti. The role of God in Nishkama Bhakti is the Arpana Buddhi. Whatsoever you do it for His sake. Another way, the Bhakta says, I am eating it also for your sake, he says. I am eating for you. I am breathing for you. I am sleeping for you. I am waking up for you. Each and every, all that I do is only for you. When you do this Nishkama Karma, Nishkama Bhakti combination, which we call as Karma Yoga, in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, you mature into a sannyasi. Sannyasi means one who is not attached to Ragadvesha. What is the primary Ragadvesha that we are all attached to? What is the primary pair that we are attached to? The rest of the things that we are holding on to. What is the primary Ragadvesha that we are attached to? Life and death. We don't want, yo, Satroma, yo, I'll die. Yo, I'll die. Therefore, safeguard everything. Are you able to follow? Yo, therefore I'll die. Either I will die or somebody known to me is going to die. Doesn't make any difference. But the fear of sannyasi means one who has no fear of dying. And the sannyasi preparation at the grihastha level itself, we say start fasting. Because one meal, if you don't eat, you feel like you are going to die, no? One meal, if you don't eat, one day, if you don't eat, you feel like you are going to, hypoglycemia will come, leg is shivering, hand is shivering, headache comes, this will happen, that will happen. First, Packet or chocolate வச்சுனே இருக்கணுமா? Isn't it? Keep one chocolate in the packet all the time. Please keep, if you have health condition, Vijay Rangan, just keep. Yeah. அப்புறம் ICU போனா we are not responsible. I will not even visit you then. Yeah. Yeah, just keep the chocolate, keep the biscuit, keep everything in your pocket and go. Wherever you go. Huh? You follow what I'm saying? Who's a sannyasi? A sannyasi is one who has conquered the last ragadvesha. Also, he has conquered. What is the ragadvesha? He has no attachment to life. He has no attachment to death. We have attachment to life and hatred towards death. At another point in time, we have hatred towards life and attachment to death. But we cannot escape life and death. We cannot escape. இதுதான் சம்சாரன்றது இல்லையா? This is what we are chained. At one point of time, I have an attachment to death, attachment to life and hatred to death. At another stage in life, hatred to life and tremendous like to death. Does it make any sense? Sannyasi is one who's not attached to life, who's not attached to death also. Why he is not attached to life or he is not attached to death? Because he says, I am beyond both. Because I am beyond life and I was never born, I was never born, I will never die. The body is born, the body dies. The wave is born, the wave dies. The ocean never is born. In the ocean, waves are born at times. In the ocean, waves are born and the waves die. But as far as the ocean is concerned, nothing happens. Because even when the wave is coming, it is part of the ocean. The birth of the wave is part of the ocean. Death of the wave is again part of the ocean only. Therefore, that enlightened person knows it. Sannyasi is trying to know it. Enlightened person knows it. Sannyasi is trying to know it. Now we are talking about a stage before prayer to sannyasa. What is that prayer to sannyasa that we are talking about? Bhakti yoga. So what is bhakti yoga now? Nishkama bhakti yoga, we will call it as bhakti yoga. We will also call it as karma yoga. So Shastras uses karma bhakti interchangeably. That's why combination of it is called karma yoga. And we have seen it any number of times. Even though in some other context we discuss as though they are separate. We'll talk about it as karma yoga separate, bhakti yoga separate, jnana yoga is separate. And then if you go to Vedanta treatise, we will say karma yoga separate, bhakti yoga separate, jnana yoga separate, hatha yoga is separate. Even though for in the initial stages, all these are understood as so separate, they are not separate practices. It's two set of practices in the same path. Lokesmin dvida nishta praprokta mayanaga jnana yogena sankhyanam karma yogena yoginam. Verse number 3, chapter 3. So these important aspects of bhakti must be understood. There is one more aspect of bhakti in relation to deity. That also I'll conclude now. Few more minutes I'll take and I'll conclude that also. One more aspect of deity, which we have already studied in chapter 10 and 11, as in Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa, Arupa. The deity again is Ekarupa. Ekarupa means in one form. Second one is Anekarupa. And then Vishwarupa. And then Arupa. Arupa bhakti will be more driving towards jnanam Rupa Bhakti will be more will be more towards Karma Bhakti combination. Carefully follow now. That Arupa is more towards formless, Jnanam oriented it is. That Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa is more towards the karma oriented, the Nishkama karma, Nishkama bhakti oriented. Now, Arjuna is asking this question. Should I worship you with form or without form? Should I worship you with form or without form? Now, what is he asking? Karma yoga ponuma, jnana yoga ponuma. Should I go to karma yoga or should I go to jnana yoga? Question is the same. Anything that Krishna uses, Arjuna will come back, his question in the same terminology. He said bhakti, etc. Now, he said, are you able to follow now? Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa, all that comes under the Nishkama Karma, Nishkama Bhakti combination. What is Arupa? What is Arupa? Arupa is a cognition of Brahman, cognition of God in all Nama Rupa, and also taking it beyond that. In Vishwarupa, Namarupa is seen and God has become that Namarupa. In Arupa, it goes one step above that also. What is Arjuna's question that he starts the chapter with? Should I worship God, Ekarupa, Anekarupa, Vishwarupa combination of worship pannanuma, or should I worship you as Arupa, with form or without? Is God with form or is God without form? Discussion starts. And in every chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the indication of both Rupa and Arupa definitions are constantly given in all chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. In all chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Arupa form of God is also given. Rupa form of God is also given. How do you know that? The latest is chapter 9, verses 4 and 5. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. I am vyaktam and I am avyaktam. Remember, we spent so much of time in that vyaktam and avyaktam. So, vyaktam is rupam, avyaktam is arupam. In the 55th verse that we concluded in chapter 11, Krishna said, worship me. Now, Arjuna's question. Me na. What is the meaning of that me? Arjuna's question. Worship me in 15th chapter, verse number 55, chapter 11. Worship me in Now, Arjuna is asking, what is this me? Me na. The Krishnandra and the former Ekarupava or Vishnundra Vishwarupava or Arupava. Meaning, technically it is called Saguna or Nirguna. Next week, we'll start with the meaning of Saguna and Nirguna. So, is God with gunas, attributes, properties, qualities, or God Nirguna, without attributes, without properties, without qualities? Again, Krishna will say, Nishkama Karma level, God is Saguna. In the Sannyasa level, God is Nirguna. When you attain liberation, it is indescribable. Anirvachaniyam it is. It is indescribable. It is with form, it is without form, and not both. Vivekananda asked, Ramakrishna, is God with form or without form? He said God is with form, God is without form, and God is beyond both. You feel like saying, wait. The beyond both are very confusing. Jnana yogena sankyanam, karma yogena yoginam looks logical. So say saguna or nirguna is okay. But if God is saguna plus nirguna plus beyond both equals, அதுக்கு பேர் தான் சார் பிளாபரிங்னு பேர். This is called பேத்தல்னு அர்த்தம், isn't it? அதுக்கு பேர் தான் கணேஷ் மெட்ராஸ் லாங்குவேஜில் இல்லையா? மெட்ராஸ் லாங்குவேஜில் சகுணா பிளஸ் நிர்குணா பிளஸ் பியாண்ட் போத் ஈக்குவல்ஸ் பேத்தல்னு அர்த்தம். அது ஹவு டு டிரான்ஸ்லேட் இட் இன் ஹிந்தி? கணேஷ் சொல்லுங்க. எனக்கு தெரியாது ஹிந்தியில் என்ன. ஐ டோன்ட் நோ ஹவு டு சே தட் இன் ஹிந்தி என்றால். It's blabbering, it is. With form, without form, and beyond. That is the 13th chapter. Kshetragyam chapimam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. He's going to take it to that. So that's how we are going to go. From Vishwarupa, we came to understanding of what bhakti is from these various angles, as in Nishkama karma and Nishkama bhakti. To summarize, Nishkama bhakti, Nishkama karma, predictable result. Sakama karma, unpredictable result. Nishkama karma, predictable result. In Sakama karma, result is of 4 types. What are the 4 types of result in Sakama karma? You may get exactly, you may get less, you may get more, you may get less, you may get the opposite. 4 results come in Sakama karma. Sunil. In Nishkama karma, it's predictable. What? Growth. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In Sakama bhakti, there is always a doubt whether God will protect you or not. In Sakama bhakti, there is always a doubt whether God will protect me or not. Kapade dvarla sir. But even though I should also do something, no? In Nishkama bhakti, result is predictable. God will. In Nishkama bhakti, result is very clear. God will. Sunil, what? God will protect. Wow. What a relief it is. What a relief it is. If you know that you are, it is so. That's why this Nishkama karma and Nishkama bhakti is so beautiful. And we have 20 verses to study it in detail, which we will start from next week.